Take a chance, take a risk, take a dare. Play a game of Double Dare. Okay, I know what you're thinking. I already talked about that game, but that was the Nickelodeon Kids game that started in 1986. Well, a decade before that, we had this version of Double Dare, hosted by the late great Alex Trebek, and that's one we'll be talking about on Wide World of Game shows right now. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Wide World of Game Shows. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. I'm Doyle, the Big D to you. This is Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews, back again with another episode of the Wide World of Game Shows. This time around, I'm going to be tackling another underrated game show, which, believe me, this one has gotten talked on YouTube a little bit. But I'm going to be talking about this now. Now, of course, you know that before there was ever a kids game by that name, there was an adults version of a game show with this title, hosted by a familiar Canadian before he hosted a game show where you have to answer in the form of a question. Well, way before he even hosted that familiar game, he hosted some games back in the 70s, which included The Wizard of Oz and High Rollers, and the game I'm going to talk about here. So now, without further ado, I bring to you the original Double Dare. Double Dare was a very challenging game show. It kind of focused on knowledge and wits and what have you. It originally premiered in December of 1976 on CBS and was produced by Mark Goodson and Bill Todman. The show's host was Alex Trebek. Okay, so you want to know about this Double Dare? Well, it's gonna be a little tough though. But anyway, the game was created by Jay Wolpert, whom we sadly lost a couple of years ago. Of course, he was actually a contestant on the original version of Jeopardy back in '69. I just found out. He later worked as a producer and creator of game shows for Chuck Barris Productions and Goodson Todman Productions, even though he began his game show producing career working for Dan Enright in Canada. While at Goodson Todman, he served as producer for The Price is Right and also created this show, Double Dare. And also, he left Goodson and Todman to form his own company, J. Wolpert Productions, and of course produced another short-lived game show on CBS known as yes. But anyway, and he'd also go on to produce the short-lived Hitman with Pierre Tamarkin on NBC. So anyway, yeah. Now, Double Dare's main game pitted two contestants in isolation booths, which kind of made it feel like the old game 21. These contestants had to attempt to correctly identify a person, place, or thing based on one sentence clues. The bonus round then pitted the champion of the main game against a panel of three PhDs referred to as the Spoilers. The announcer was originally Johnny Olson, and then Gene Wood took over. Now then, the main game, two contestants, typically a returning champion and a challenger, sat in separate isolation booths. They attempted to identify a subject based on one sentence clues that were given to them, one at a time, on an electronic game board. Before the first clue was given, the correct response was shown to the home audience, just like what we would see with the correct answer on Password. A maximum of 10 clues were played per subject. And of course, the host stated the general category to the two contestants. It typically starts with obscure pieces of trivia and progressing toward more widely known facts. Either contestant could buzz in at any time to guess the subject, and doing so, close off the opponent's booth so that he or she could not see or hear anything. A correct guess won $50 for the contestant, while Miss closed his or her booth and gave the opponent a chance to see the next clue, referred to as a penalty clue, and offer a guess unopposed. If the opponent also missed, both booths were opened and play resumed with the next clue after the penalty. When a contestant correctly identified a subject on a buzz-in, he or she was shown the next clue in sequence and could dare the opponent to answer. When a contestant gave the answer on a penalty clue, it was used for the dare since the opponent had not yet seen it. If the contestant chose to dare, the opponent's booth was open and he or she had 5 seconds to say the clue before guessing. A correct answer awarded $50 to the opponent. A miss awarded $100 to the daring contestant. And then they closed the opponent's booth again and gave the contestant a chance to offer a double dare based on the next clue. A correct answer on a double dare awarded $100 to the opponent, and a miss awarded $200 to the double daring contestant. Play on a particular subject ended after any of the following occurred. A contestant identified the subject but chose not to dare. A contestant successfully dared the opponent but chose not to double dare. An opponent correctly identified the subject on a dare. A double dare was played, or neither contestant identified the subject after all 10 clues were played. In either of the first two cases, the clue for the dare or double dare was read to the opponent to see if he or she would have been able to guess the subject. The first contestant to accrue $500 or more won the game and moved on to the bonus round. Both contestants kept their accrued money, and the runner-up of each game also received parting gifts. Now then, to the bonus round. Beat the spoilers. The winner of the main game competed in a bonus round against the spoilers, a panel of three PhDs placed in separate isolation booths so that they could not see or hear each other. The booths were turned off to begin the round. The game board displayed a subject and 8 numbered clues, 10 in the pilot. Now, there were 2 or 3 pilots produced in random order of difficulty and was placed so that the spoilers could not see it. The contestant selected one clue at a time and, after seeing and hearing it, had to decide whether to pass it or give it to the spoilers. He or she could pass up to 4 times, 5 in the pilot, and these clues were immediately discarded from play. If the contestant decided to give a clue to the spoilers, their boots were turned on long enough for Trebek to read it to them. He also announced the general category to them before reading the first given clue. The boots were then turned on one at a time so that each spoiler could guess the subject without being heard by the others. Each incorrect answer awarded $100 to the contestant, while correct answer awarded the money to that spoiler, who then sat out the rest of the round with his or her booth open so as to hear the others' guesses. The round continued as long as at least one spoiler failed to guess correctly. If all 3 spoilers managed to identify the subject, the contestant lost the round but kept any money accumulated to that point from incorrect guesses. And henceforth, you hear the, oh dear, the losing horns tune from The Price is Right. Yes, this was actually the first time a game aside from The Price is Right, to use that losing horns tune. If any of the spoilers were unable to identify the subject after the fourth or fifth in the pilot given clue, the contestant's wings for the round were increased to $5,000. Champions stay on the show until either defeated or surpassing CBS's maximum winnings limit, which for this show was $20,000 at that time. A man named Alan Lusher was the only contestant to retire. He crossed the $20,000 threshold with a victory in the main game, then won a further $300 in the bonus round for a final winnings total of $20,500. Yes, and speaking of, this did use some other things that would be, well, now the losing horns from The Price is Right was and the buzzer, like we might hear on Matt. They used the buzzer heard on Match Game. for incorrect answers in the main game. Now, some other things that would later be used in other games, there would be now in the spoilers round, if the spoilers get a wrong answer, you will hear a kind of a little wrong beep beep sound that would later be used on the better sex the following year. Of course, that's another Goodson Tomlin produced game which was underrated. And oh yeah, and the show's music was composed by Ed Kalehoff. And actually, it would be the theme that would be used for Card Sharks, which would premiere 2 years later after this. The show premiered on December 13th, 1976, replacing Gambit. It followed The Price is Right and would mostly serve as, well, the last game show they would air before their hit soap Love of Life would come on. But however, this didn't draw the audience Gambit had, as it was facing Wheel of Fortune on NBC, which was now in its second season. On March 7th of 77, it shifted back 1 hour from its original time slot in order to accommodate the hour-long Price is Right taking its, main time slot. But CBS saw no further success for that at the earlier hour and decided to cancel the show after 5 months and a total of 96 episodes produced and aired. The final episode aired on April 29th, 1977. Yep. Incredible. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There was one more sound effect used on this that was used. The sound effect for there was a sound effect for the opening of the clue board and the isolation boots was later used for the Price is Right's game Penny Ante, and it's as well as, well, which made that game rest in peace, as well as their game Venda Price. Also, the same. It also was later used as the bonus round level wind up sound on the Joker's Wild. Yep. Now I'll tell you this. Another thing is Marky Post, who would later go on to star on The Fall Guy and the original Night Court, was actually an employee of Goodson Tomlin at the time and was an associate producer on Double Dare. She'd also be one of the the Card Sharks gals in its original run. All episodes are reported to exist. Reruns got aired on Game Show Network from 96 to 97, as well as from 98 to 2000, and then returned from 2007 to 2009. More recently, the show has been seen on Buzzer. The first 20 episodes had formerly been on Prime Video, but unfortunately they're no longer available though. But however, there is a way you can see them. You can find full episodes of Double Dare 76 on YouTube. Several of those are pretty good and what have you. I watched the first seven. I'm gonna say it was fun. I'd only seen maybe a little bit of this show because it didn't catch on with me at first. But then I decided to go ahead and give it a second chance, just because I needed to get ready to do this episode of Wide World of Game Shows. And I'm gonna tell you, it turned out to be pretty good. Let me give you a look at some of this. Now, here's a shot of what the isolation boots look like. And here's a shot of the big guy himself, Alex Trebek, may he rest in peace, as the host. It is a shame this didn't last that long. It would have been fun if it had kept going and what have you. It could have been another big hit, but it didn't. But anywho, Double Dare from 1976, while it's a different game than what we knew from the Nickelodeon game show, But however, I thought it was a pretty challenging game of knowledge and wits and what have you. So if you're into game shows like that, then I would recommend you watch this. Like I said, you can find full episodes on YouTube. But now, one vid I did watch, kind of unfortunately, had a tiny bit, had a little video issue, and it didn't have all of one part of the first round. Sorry. But anyway, you can find just about everything. You can find clips as well, including one funny one. But no, well, I'll tell you what it is. Just see for yourself. Just find them on YouTube. Just look up Double Dare 1976 or Double Dare 1976 Game Show. But if you have seen Double Dare 1976 with Alex Trebek, let me know what you thought about the show in the comments section below. If you like the video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you the next episode of my Do You Remember series, as I'll be talking about the instructional television show It Figures, which is all about math. And we'll have another episode of Wide World of Game Shows coming soon. I've already decided next time will be another underrated game show, and it'll be a kids' game show. Pick Your Brain. Details to follow on when that's going to come, okay? So if you like this, consider checking out some of these other these other games that I've mentioned. In the upper left-hand corner is the episode I did on another short-lived game show CBS had, and that was. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and see a game show that actually kind of was also short-lived, much more shorter-lived than Double Dare was, and that was Pass the Buck from 1978, produced by Bob Stewart. Or if you'd like to see the show that really made Alex Trebek a big name, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see the episode I did on Jeopardy! And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the wide world of game shows, then I'm your guy. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.